Welcome to the VIFF Podcast, recorded on the unceded territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh Nations. This podcast is a chance to hear more from the filmmakers presenting work at the annual Vancouver International Film Festival, as well as year-round at the VIFF Centre. We hope you enjoy the show.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the VIFF Podcast. My name is Ron Noor, and I'm the documentary programmer here at the Vancouver International Film Festival. I'm tasked with two responsibilities as a programmer. I program Insights for international documentaries, and then Spectrum strand, which is more for innovative nonfiction, experimental hybrid films, which is where the film Khartoum lives currently within the festival. We're very grateful and honored to be sharing time and space with one of the co-directors of Khartoum, Timeea Ahmed. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
I would much rather you describe more about Khartoum, the film, and also your collaborators. Can you give us a short description of what the movie's about?
So Khartoum is a feature doc, 80 minutes. A little bit of a context for the Sudan whole history, because Sudan is pretty far from here, so a lot of people doesn't actually know the context, but that's why we made the film. In the last 5 years, we have so much condensed events happened in the recent history. We have 2019 revolution, 2021 coup on the civilian government that brought the revolution, that brought by the revolution, and we have the 2023 April 15th war. So we have these main three events, and we have the story of 5 protagonists. Khadmallah, single mom, amazing woman, tea lady who sells tea and participates in the revolutions. She's from the Nuba Mountains, and she came to Sudan, to Khartoum young. And we have Jawad, which is a Sufi, and a Rasta, which is, trust me, not a common thing to happen. And he works as a medic in the protest by a motorbike. Like, that's how he participate. And we have Megdi, which is a civil servant who works at the government, and he raises pigeons. And even at some points he was like picking between, should I feed my kids or should I feed the pigeons in the time of war, conflict affected area. And we have Lucane and Wilson, the amazing kids who used to collect plastic to resell it before the war, and they did so much more after the war started. And these are the protagonists, and we have the directors, my collaborators. We have Brahim Snoopy, Phil Cox, Anas Saeed, Rawi Al-Haj, also produced by Native Voice Film, Sudan Film Factory, Talal Afifi, and Giovanna Stupani. This is the spectrum of the collaborators and the general idea of the film. So the story is what's their life pre-war, because the production started and almost stopped before the war starts. So their life in that political sense, in this era of Sudan, their day-to-day lives, their dreams, their hopes, their challenges, their small love stories. So, but after the war erupted, then we had to reshift the whole narrative in a way to make it more politically relevant. And we believe that it could be a great advocacy tool that can bring awareness and support for the Sudanese humanitarian cause, and even for the civic engagement puzzle that we had going in Sudan. So
perfect.
That.
Perfect short description. And then you also blended it together to talk about Spectrum as well, because if I think about Spectrum, there's really no boundaries of what the program can be. But when I think about like what a perfect film for the strand would be, it would be Khartoum. It really did blend like the personal and the political and also the socio possibilities of our contemporary realities. But before we talk more about the film, I want to talk more about you, Timeea. Tell us more about where you're from. We know you're from Sudan, but where exactly? And also about what brought you into filmmaking itself. Do you have any specific experiences or inspirations or influences that catapulted you into this crazy world that we
Yeah.
work in?
Uh, so I've started as a graphic designer 10 or 11 years ago. Dad brought me a laptop that has Photoshop in it. And I never thought that this Photoshop is the same software that does the billboards that I see on the street. So my imagination was limited to, okay, this is a studio thing. People take photos and you bring your dead grandfather picture next to you, and maybe 11 flowers. That's why. Yeah, so that tried YouTube, tried a lot of things, tried comms, tried marketing, and then I've started volunteering at film festivals in Sudan, which is a shout out to the VIFF volunteers. That's how I kicked off my career. Started volunteering in Khartoum Arab Film Festival, then Sudan Independent Film Festivals, then Sudanese European Film Festival, and then so many film festivals. And starting in that was a great kickoff for me. I've been introduced to the community, I've been introduced to the market, and then I've been trying things. I've been trying to shoot with a camera. What do I like? What do I want? Then I worked in the national TV for a month. I couldn't survive for a day more. And my parents are TV producers. Yani, I'm not sure if that's relevant,
Yeah.
but my parents are TV producers for like decades, for the national TV in particular. And it's also the equation of my life between Sudan and Cairo. I was parts of my teenage years, I was raised in Egypt, Cairo. So it was like that. Also, I've seen a lot of movies, I've seen a lot of things. And why that path of filmmaking? Because I was so confused. What do I want to do? Do I want to do illustrations? Do I want to do graphic design? Do I want to do editing? Do I want to do do I want to do TV programs? Because I may want to do impact in a way at that time, but didn't translate that idea like I have it now in my brain, but I knew that I sensed it somehow. So okay, this thing called films can include all of that.
Yeah.
So why not? But where films goes? Okay, Sudan. How many cinemas do you have in Sudan? 2.
Yeah.
The whole country has 2, 3 cinemas all the way. Okay, do we even have Netflix? We don't. We don't have access to all of that. But we have all of these film festivals that makes a platform that run almost all year long in different quarters of the year. So that's why I've started it, and it was also a matter of I love archiving so much. I love like as you said in the panel, I love creating time capsules, not of the past necessarily, but of the present, of what we can. Like we have a project named Khartoum Document. We have started to work on before the war. It's like, what are the things culturally that we think it will disappear between the next 10 to 15 years? And then we started to make some clips, some short 4-minute films, some stuff like that. So yeah, that was the why. The ultimate purpose for me is archiving Sudan, Khartoum, my culture, my family, my own stories, and impact. And it's also the way I can talk. Actually, this is the only way I can express myself in a way. And that's why I made the short, like, is it where this film was intended to be seen by me. Like, for example, it wasn't like a production that I want the world to see. It was more of, okay, this is my ideas, I just need to get that out of my brain, and I want to see how that looks like. But eventually, alhamdulillah, it was like screened in a lot of places. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I'm so glad I asked the question, because everything you said, from graphic design, animation, creating a time capsule, archival, all of these big ideas that you are curious about, it bleeds into the film. It's in Khartoum itself.
Yeah.
Can you tell us more about how the project came together? Because it's 5 co-directors, no? how exactly did you all meet, and what was like just the origin story behind the film?
So the original story about behind the film is it's a collab between Native Voice Films, a Sudan Film Factory, Phil Cox and Talal Afifi at the beginning. They sat together and they said, okay, we need to make short films about Khartoum. Short films. That was the kickoff. And then it was a public application. Everyone brings their stories. And then they promised in the application that we're going to produce the film. And I'm not sure if it's like one series, one full film. I'm not sure of how the outcomes was planned at that time. But it was like different stories, different paths, different sequences. So that's how it kicked off. People applied. People sent their ideas and their stuff. And they got accepted. They started production. And they've started filming. All of that, I wasn't even there. I had no relation with the film. So I always say, because there's always the question of how did you find your protagonist? I didn't. My protagonist found me. I mean,
Wow.
Jawad exactly found me. But after the war erupted, then okay, we have to shift the whole thing. Some stories are out. Some creative people are not replaced, but the dynamics of the team is changed. And I jumped in. I was called when the war started to record footage of Khartoum and what's happening, because I was one of the very few directors or even creatives who stayed in for a long time in Khartoum after the war started. Stayed until like late September, and then I was requested, and then I was later, after I provided some of my own story, my day-to-day life, and maybe that's a by the way, this is like hours of footage recorded on iPhone. After I was like requested, then okay, Timeea, why the producers were like, Timeea, why don't you jump as a director? I was like, I would be honored. And then we then everyone went to Nairobi. And then the whole idea shifted. Okay, but the priority was safety, taking people out. The directors got out. Then Snoopy was ahead of us in Nairobi, but me, Rawi, and Anas came after. And then we were talking, how can we keep doing the film? Should we keep doing the film? Can we keep doing the film? And why are we doing why are we making this film? Then we sensed the urgency, the political importance, and the gap in the mainstream media of, okay, some people speak about Sudan, but it's not enough. And a lot of people say numbers, say calculations, and more than 12 million people displaced, all of that. But we sense that there is something called like emotional fatigue. In a way, it's like people like, okay, like we don't care anymore. Like it's just okay, 1 + 1 = 3 plus. Okay, every one of these millions of people has his own story, his own dreams, his own day-to-day life, his own high school crush, his own, it's all of that. But we need to humanize the story. We need to make a story that is relatable and an enjoyable film, that people would go to cinema not just to see another sad story from Africa, that is understandable in Cuba, in Moscow, in Tokyo, and maybe even in Detroit. So yeah, in a way, that was like,
One of the, or maybe just like the most remarkable aspect of the film is that it even exists, because at any point you guys had very legitimate reasons to just stop production. Maybe you could have picked it up at a later time, or maybe this would just be something you kept in the hard drive, right? But there's such an act of courage and resilience that you guys said, you know what, even in the middle of the war, we're seeking asylum in other places. You guys were all throughout East Africa, and then you came together. And I know you guys also lived together for a period of time. making this film. Can you talk more about that transition period and what the steps were for you guys to be like, okay, listen, this actually is quite urgent. We want to tell a human story about us as human beings in Sudan. Yeah, what was that process like for you guys to come together and actually make this totally new adaptation of what the film is?
So, as you said, it was phases, batches. When we landed in Nairobi, did some workshops, we thought, we sat, we called, we talked, we checked on safety of everyone from the protagonists. We tried, connection was bad. But then we said, hey, uh, we sensed that we are privileged, very privileged to get out of this conflict affected areas in Sudan, and privileged to be in a safe place right now, and privileged to realize that we can still make a film. We have the network, we have the access, there is like a platform, and we have also stayed at DocuBox, which is an amazing Kenyan production house in Nairobi, that they supported us throughout the film. And we have all of these elements. Okay, you said, right? You just got out of work, but put that aside, there is grief later. There is a higher responsibility to do now, because the only thing that we know how to do is to make films. And this film felt like it can lead in that direction, can bring advocacy. Maybe we could do an impact campaign later, which we did, which we are doing. Maybe it can change someone's life. It's not necessarily the whole population, but it can change tangible someone's life. Maybe it can draw more attention. Maybe it will allow more films to come. Maybe. So we had all of these goals and we agreed, okay, we gotta do this. The question is, how do we do this? So the second phase, which is when we live together, all of us, directors, producers, protagonists, everyone.
Yeah.
Like everyone in one apartment, or like two big apartments in front of each other. Yeah, it's just one floor. We all live together in that floor. Was like that. We just the living room. We did the setup for the interviews. We have the editing station, and we have the dream wall, if I would call it. It's just like a thing we can talk about after. And then we have the the kitchen. People cook. It's part of the house. Like we had this sense of family, I would say, at that time. In like, the tasks are make breakfast, buck up footage, bring groceries, edit clips, check archive, and clean the room. It's like this is like that sense of a life. And we had always like, then yeah, when we were thinking, okay, we all did everything. Like, everyone was helping in logistics, everyone was flying people around, everyone was trying to get tickets, we were sorting visas, doing all of the work. Like, it's not what's your title, it's what you can do, who do you know at that moment. So we brought the protagonists, thankfully, to Nairobi. Also, we stayed together, and we had these conversations, because I am displaced, Snoopy is displaced, Anas is, Rawia is, all of us are. So I felt like I'm saying in English, is are. I felt like
Yeah, no,
just remind me of school.
yeah.
Anyways, so we had these conversations of, okay, what happened to you? What happened at the checkpoint? What happened when the RSF came into your house? What happened after you got out of the conflict? These are like so common things between almost every Sudani. Like, how was the first day at war? How did that feel? It's like just very relatable things. So we had these conversations every day. And then the question is, was the camera on, or was the camera off? that was the only difference we had. I mean, did I forget anything?
No, I mean,
I mean,
it's such a, it's such a like monumental project, so it's hard to even be like, how did it start? What's the middle? What's the end? There's a lot of talk in documentary now of trust, collaboration, co-authorship with your participants. What's really incredible about this film is it started one way, it completely transformed, and the power imbalance. I mean, what was power at that time? You guys were all displaced and seeking asylum and living together, making a film together, and they gave you a purpose. I think that's really like a very
yes,
important thing to say.
very.
But in terms of like filmmaking, in terms of the mechanics of filmmaking, you talked yesterday. We had a panel discussion with two other documentary filmmakers about new documentary frontiers. And somebody in the audience, a young filmmaker, asked this question of what does it mean to build a script or an outline for a project, especially something that's non-traditional. And you said something very fascinating about in this shared apartment, you guys had a dream wall
Yeah.
with all of these post-it notes of ideas. So tell us a little bit more about that.
So uh, we all interact, but every director at a point sits with his protagonist, and then we extract. We used to extract everything. Like, tell me what could be relevant when you were 2 year old. Just extraction papers. It's not writing, but it's like just extraction. We just, okay, tell me. We just write, and then we translate that into like some sort of. We did translate that into like sticky notes, and I don't remember the title, but it was like story circle, or we had a name for it that Phil suggested, but we had a name for it for every sticky note. But every sticky note is like a portion of this person's life or a particular story that happened when he was a child or he was in the war or after. Or so we had these eras in a big wall that we stick. This is Khadmallah, this is Lucan and Wilson, this is Magdi, this is uh, Jawad. So we had this wall that, okay, this is pre-war, this is after war, this is childhood, this is high school. We had a big wall that you just, okay, you want to brush your teeth, but remember to see the wall when you walk. So you can remember how can Jawad's story as a kid connects with Khadmallah's dream in the future. How can Lucan and Wilson's dream in the future connects with what happened with Magdi and his son at the bed, and how we can know later in the reenactment scenes that this can be another assistant, like you will be like in there's like Lucan Wilson can play the son of that, and that's how we came up with that Khadmallah should be the girlfriend of Jawad in his scenes. So the wall just relinks our minds as directors and reminds us of that's a one feature film and these people are interacting. We have to make them together. So it was a click of how we can make this film more not engaging but engaged in itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, in a way.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because I don't know if we talked about this yet, but when the film transformed and you guys went to Kenya, then it became this thing of all of the participants in the film are now acting out scenes of memories as well as dream sequences of what their hopes and dreams of Khartoum is or just Sudan. And they're working on each other's sequences. And then we see you guys as directors as well. You guys are in the text of the film. And I want to just like draw on this because we hear from them about what their dreams are of going back home, possibly. But for you as a filmmaker with this film, what exactly are the dreams for you? And then also your co-directors, what's the impact that you hope the film has moving forward?
So for the green screen, for the reenactment scenes, green screen part, a lot of people would assume, okay, you guys are crazy creative. That's good, but we were not sure about that. We were uncertain I always keep saying that weird line of it was a very fine line between what could be cringe and awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I think we brought some references. We saw because it was a solution. It wasn't let's get out of the box just at a night randomly. No, it was we had no footage of these people escaping because the priority was not filming at that time. The priority was safety. But afterwards, okay, we need to make a film. Then we have all of these gaps in the sequence. And then that idea of, okay, let's reenact this time in Khartoum. Let's recreate this in a green screen perspective. And let's maybe put that in the dreams. Why don't we make the dream sequence? Because a lot of the protagonists talk to us about their dreams, and then how we can put all of these together. How we can put Khadmallah in Jawad's story, Jawad in Lokain's story, and etc. Who can play a soldier? Who can play a father? Who can play a father? It just worked somehow.
You did.
So yeah, that was the why and the how in a way, and then we have the impact. So we did a tangible impact campaign for the film. We had the launch in Sundance this year, so immediately it was also a sensitive time because there was like an agency named USAID that used to fund a lot of civic society organizations, CSOs, and a lot of humanitarian based efforts and a lot of media, independent journalist work that stopped at January, which was the same time that Trump got in office. And USAID stopped because of Trump. And then we have the film was released, so it was just timed somehow. So we went to after the screening and all of the Sundance activities. We went to Washington. We did a lot of senators, representatives meeting. We have met with a lot of offices that we said, okay, this is the film, cool film, right? We need this. We need that. There's a gap in this. There's this CSO. There is this civic society organization. There is that gap in the humanitarian support. There is this. So we just talked as filmmakers, and we had Kissa group with us. We talked, and then we went to New York. We had a lot of meetings with a lot of UN missions, like 10 or 15 countries. We talked to them and some offices also in New York, and then we did also Berlinale, and we tried to do a lot of impact work to talk to external parties in particular, so of what is the actual steps so they can help and so they can support the gaps that either left by the USAID and the funding, or they already existed and never fixed, or how they can help us in the bigger advocacy work. And we collaborate with the diaspora in the US, here, and in different places around the world, the Sudanese diaspora in particular. But my favorite impact, tangible impact things, it's how this film changed everyone in its lives. We had the fundraiser for Locain and Wilson to support their
Two little
recent,
children.
the little children, to support their education and their coming. Just by the way, Rawia is their guardian. She took care of them.
Rawia is one of the
Rawia is one of the co-directors.
Yeah, she's now.
Rawia Al-Haj is one of the co-directors, and she's their guardian now.
Yeah.
After we filmed in Nairobi, she was like, "These kids has to stay here," and
it's amazing.
yeah, we brought they got them to school and all of that, which is and then we did the fundraiser campaign with Sundance. Every screening we had QR codes to submit fund, to donate for Locain and Wilson's. Every screening we kept saying it all around the world, and then we reached, or we did like, I don't know, maybe 20,000 now, Great Britain pounds, I think. So to support the kids of the film and their near future. And then how Jawad was introduced to Nairobi to make another branch of his amazing work, Jaita, his restaurant that
Yeah.
has a lot of Sudanese refugees working in. And funny enough, yesterday Jawad opened another branch in Nairobi, which is like in Eastleigh
Wow.
Market, which is like a big Somali population lives
Yes.
there.
I know Eastleigh.
Yeah, Eastleigh, yeah. So Jaita opened another branch
Amazing.
there. Khadmallah started her tea stall, and she did 2 branches in Nairobi, which is amazing.
Yeah.
My life changed. I was introduced to Kenya and moved there for a while, and then I made a lot of great friends. I've never thought about it. So it's just how it impacted all of us in the film, and how that tangible is. This is so tangible to me. This is just so clear
Mhm.
in a way. And I media, a lot of other partners were also approving this somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's incredible. And I think it's important to say, like, the film had its world premiere at Sundance, and then it went to Berlin and won an award. It went to Hot Docs and won another award. You guys had a successful festival circuit, and alhamdulillah. And
Alhamdulillah.
also, amazing to hear about the impact campaign. We have 2 last questions for you. The first one being, again, about this question of cinema. What is your best memory at the picture house, at the movies? This could be like from your childhood or even in recent years.
What's my favorite cinema memory? I lived in Cairo for a few years, in my teenage years. There was a film named Hepta. Hepta is based on a love novel. It's like based on a love book. I don't know. It's,
A romance book.
yeah, romance.
Yeah.
That's the word.
Yeah.
So I was talking to someone at that time for some reason, like a woman, a girl actually, not that old. It was 2013, 2012, something around that. And then we wanted to go to the cinema so bad just to see Hepta because we loved the book for years. And then it even had a shirt. The book and the title. It's
Merchandise.
like, there's like a Karo hat, the red, black t-shirts. It was like shirts.
Yeah.
It was like trendy in 2010, 2012, something. So I had like
Chrome
two,
Hearts, I
yeah,
think.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I had like 2 shirts of that, and then she didn't go. That ended. That story ended there. Then I went with my male friend. We entered the cinema like 5 times, in and out. Then we saw the film. It was so good. Then we went out, and then we're like, okay, let's have some popcorns, and then should we enter again? We entered the cinema again, and then we got out,
Oh, wow.
and then we have seen all the day. Like, we had nothing to do, obviously,
Yeah.
at that time, but we saw the film like 5 times a day, like in one day. So I can't forget anything from that film. If you want that, just watch the film 5 times. So I think Hepta. I saw a lot of Harry Potter in that time. Yeah.
Hepta, yeah. The Egyptian.
Hepta, the Egyptian movie. The second part is coming actually in a few weeks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There's a sequel, yeah.
Yeah, it's coming in like 2 weeks or already out. I'm not sure. I'm
Okay.
definitely not seeing it 5 times.
Okay, last question. What would be the perfect double bill for Khartoum if you were to program it into your own festival or movie theater?
That's the double bill for Khartoum.
Yeah.
So the easy answer is I would pair it with 4 daughters. Kawthar's bin Hania. She has now the voice of Hind Rajab also.
Yes, another documentary from
Yeah.
Tunisia.
She's Tunisian, an amazing documentary filmmaker. So 4 daughters is a learnable experience, I would say. Can be twinned with Khartoum. But I don't. There is another Latin film, but I really don't recall its name. But we can put it in edit or something.
When you come with the answer.
Look it up and find the edit here or something.
The 4 daughters, yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. definitely for
Well,
the
thank you, Timeea. Thank you so much for your time, for having the film here at VIFF. It really means a lot for us and for the festival, for you to be here.
Thank you, Ron.
Thank
Thank you, Ron.
you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to the VIFF Podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please subscribe and leave a review. Also, check out viff.org to learn more about what's happening at the VIFF Center year-round.